Sorry.
That's my research. What's your favorite happy hour, everybody out there? Where's your favorite place to go?
Oh, there's a group that does.
The Fabulous Friday happy hours, which I love because they rotate.
All right.
So like they'll be in the same
Now
place
we
for a
got it.
month or maybe
Oh,
a few
really?
weeks. Mm-hmm. We went last Friday because we were going out to dinner and it was at Lemongrass. And I've never
never
been to
been there.
Lemongrass before.
No, I've never been there either.
I think it's way overrated.
Really?
I enjoyed the
Hopefully
drinks.
the owners aren't going to see this.
Sorry.
We didn't stay for
I'm
dinner
gonna
because
tell her
we,
like
we
it is.
had dinner plans. We were going to Cap City.
Yeah, we are.
All
right.
Cap City has a good happy hour.
Hi,
Their
all.
fish and chips is awesome. I had it for the
Yeah,
first time.
I've eaten there so many. I love Cap City. Their Caesar salad.
See, if we had been here when we started, we'd be on topic.
You know what I
You
love?
know,
Is excuse me. I like kicking the table out from
You
everyone.
do?
I do. I'm
That's
in the mood
awesome.
today.
So now that we're all here,
we are all
And we are all
we
ready.
talked about happy hour.
Happy Wine Wednesday. We've
Happy
had some
Wine Wednesday.
other discussions. So, welcome.
Cheers.
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 Clink, clink.
I swear, this is not a bottle. This is a bottle full of water. This is
Oh,
not
right,
flowing.
TJ.
It's
You need
clear.
the glass like I have that
TJ's
says this
disguising
may
his
be wine.
No,
That's
it's
my
water.
favorite glass ever.
So, today we're going to talk about steps to buying a home, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you just walk up to somebody's house and you say, "Hey, I got a check for you. Can I have the keys?"
Want to buy your home?
I have cash in a suitcase.
I got money from a Nigerian prince. Like.
I had that email the other day, and I was
Yeah, it is,
wondering
like-
if anybody ever responds to it.
Someone must, because they keep sending them.
Real quick, I posted this on mine, and I don't know about you guys, but we had a request for first-time homebuyer program. So if there's any lenders watching, if you would just comment in the comments and thank you for watching. And if you're watching on the replay, let us know if you're watching on the replay.
Yeah.
But just comment on what your first-time homebuyer programs are. I know there's a lot of lenders we all work with, and it's, someone had asked about it. So there's going to be people looking specifically for that information. So
Absolutely.
comment area for that. Thank you. All right,
So-
moderator.
So moderator, yes, we have a new format we're going to try today. So Wayne's going to be moderator, and we're going to talk about steps to buying a home. So
Yeah.
why don't we have, since Amanda's to my right, we'll circle down. How about Amanda? What's the first step you think you should do?
I think the first step is getting pre-approved. So it's very important. Even people that have already bought in the past, as well as first-time home buyers, everybody, they don't completely understand the way that our market is right now.
Right.
You cannot write an offer on a house without a pre-approval. And honestly, to even know what you can afford and what your monthly payment's going to be, that's the most important step, is having finances in order to even go look at a house.
Sure. Yeah. So when you're getting your finances in order, what kind of things should you be getting in order more specifically? TJ, what do you think?
You're going to want to go back and get your previous tax documents. You should probably make sure that you run your free credit report and get anything cleaned up that's in there. Make sure that if you have money for a deposit, which you should have, that's actually in your bank account and not sitting in a suitcase under your bed.
Or
Basically,
be waiting on it from that Nigerian prince?
yes. So just make sure that you have all of your tax and income and job history information available so that you can then take that to a lender and get pre-approved. If you have questions about what the specific lender wants, they are more than happy to send you a list of the documents that they're going to require from you.
And they can help you with your credit
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
So you get that stuff together. I mean, you have to have a lender. So how do you know what mortgages you're going to? Jen's hating this.
I don't do well with questions on the fly. I told you that. It's too much pressure.
Girl,
Girl, we're-
No,
we're-
we're not. Leave me off topic.
No, we're
It's
not.
following the point.
We just wrapped up point number 1. We're on to number 2.
No. Just continue on.
Jenny, how do you know what
What's
mortgage
the
is?
question? Talk to your lender. They'll explain it all.
So the next step here, you need to research your mortgages. So what kinds of things when they're researching mortgages should they be looking for?
Down payment.
Interest rate?
Yeah.
Lender reputation, maybe, like get some information from people that you've known that have bought and sold before, so ask people who they've used. And then there are different kinds of mortgages, so figure out, your lender will help you through, what kind of mortgage I think you want, right?
Yeah.
So then they'll help you figure out what's best for you. So there's all these different kinds of mortgages, we've talked about those before, we won't get into all of them now. But I think, like you said, the biggest thing is finding the best interest rate and the best terms for you. And getting references to ask more than one, right? So one isn't going to give you a good comparison and give you necessarily the best deal.
Right, and lender reputation matters. I know that there are certain lenders that in a multiple offer situation, all things being equal, that I have clients who will pass on an offer because of the lender.
Do you feel like they got that information from you though?
From their past experiences. Like the folks I'm talking about are people who have been on the sales side. Been on the sales side in multiple instances.
That happened. It was a 30-hour, 5 minutes.
So, but I mean, it's not hard. They can go online and research, and you can see reviews of lenders.
Right.
And there are some that say, "Oh my goodness, they were horrible to deal with." So they'll,
Right.
But,
choosing your lender is really important.
Yeah, look up reputation and ask us for recommendations of people who we've worked with in the past who, we know have worked well in your type of situation.
It's so easy to get recommendations these days. Go to Facebook, post on Facebook. Who'd you use?
You'll get so many recommendations.
Everybody likes to share their opinion, so you'll get lots of
Bad
those.
or good. Usually bad.
And then it's up to you at that point to weigh, okay, I mean, I don't think going for more than 3 or maybe 4, that gets to be a lot. So, narrowing them down to 3 or 4 based upon recommendations or your experience, I think is a good place to start.
That's all I have to say about that.
All right. So, you've got your financials in order. You've researched your mortgage. You've done some homework here. Now what?
I think it's time to look for a house.
So did you get a pre-approval?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you can't get a pre-approval, and oftentimes some people cannot due to credit or income, debt to income, and so if you're not pre-approved, then work on that. And then once you are pre-approved, your lender will tell you how much you can afford to buy. And then from that pre-approval, say you're pre-approved for $200,000, but you're only comfortable spending $150,000, and that's something to talk to your lender about, because you have your mortgage plus you have taxes and insurance that you have to pay. So it's really important to understand what price point you're actually comfortable paying and not what you're pre-approved for as well.
I just think it's funny because I had this whole drone video of Ireland for St. Patrick's Day.
Oh wait, I think I can
You
skip
can
the ad.
skip the ad.
But I think the ad's on a loop because it's been on for a
Oh,
long
it's
time.
It's a long ad. But there's nothing wrong with cartoon people.
Wait, that was a
Can't
long
say
ad.
10-minute long.
3-minute long ad.
Wow.
That's a long one.
But I just thought it was funny because I kept seeing in the background here on the video, and I think we've all seen that ad 1,000 times because, if you've searched about being a realtor.
Yeah.
Typically I skip. Yeah.
So, anyways, so you got your pre-approval. Now it's time to find your home, right?
And I guess talking to an agent, that would be your second step, so you could, they can help you find homes,
But
and
when-
then they can set up the showings.
So if you haven't really done this before, which assuming if you're watching this, that's probably the case. What are some of the things that you're going to do to help find that home? How are you going to narrow it? 'Cause it's pretty overwhelming, right? You start from the beginning.
Right.
What's one of the first things maybe you should hone in on?
I think you should start with a list of what is
I don't know where you're going with
what is absolutely most important to you.
Right, school
And,
districts.
and for most people, it's the 3 most important things in real estate: location, location, location.
Right. Location.
So whether you're looking for school district, walkability in a neighborhood, something near parks, something near restaurants, something near retail. All of those things are going to help you narrow down the neighborhoods that you're looking for.
I think it's usually people with school
I'm so
districts
stressed out.
or jobs. They want to be closer to workplace. So,
No, I'm laughing.
and then certain neighborhoods. People want to be in a certain neighborhood.
Right.
So I think those are the top 3.
And I always encourage people to tell me. So when I'm working with folks to say what's most important to you about this neighborhood, like what do you like about it, and then I may recommend to them based on what that is, other neighborhoods that they may also enjoy because they may not be aware of other neighborhoods around.
Right.
So yes, you may like Clintonville, for example. Well, tell me what you like about Clintonville, and then I may have other ideas of places you could drive through and look at.
Do you know how many times people say, I want to live in Clintonville, and we end up in Westgate?
Yeah.
There's a little slight price difference.
But that's, I mean, because people start to see, oh my gosh, this house in Clintonville is $300,000.
So they're less expensive in Westgate, right?
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
like, I mean,
Because-
sometimes like,
Considerably.
you know, a third,
Okay.
you know, 2/3 the price.
So-
So like a $300,000 house in Clintonville, probably, you know, you can get for around 200 or less.
I just had a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot house in Westgate that we closed on for $209.
Yeah. So and
I
Which
can't-
is high for Westgate.
No,
the
actually,
prices have gone from
Have they?
we've gone up quite a bit. But in Clintonville, I mean, God, what would that house cost you? 2,000
lot.
square feet with 4 bedrooms and 2 full baths?
I feel like it'd be like 400 or 500, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Well,
what it was
if you're on the ravine, it's going to be a lot
Right.
more. But
And also, I mean, it's the same for I think a lot of different neighborhoods. I think that's why it's good to have a conversation with an agent or friends. You know, if this, you know, to your point, if this is what you like, then you know, but you can't afford it, or you would like to spend less, then find some alternatives. And I think that's where people like us.
I've been
But-
seeing people posting in Facebook groups about
Mhm.
areas, so that's always a good place to look.
But you know, there are
That's
certain
a great
things that we
result.
can't help you with. You can't say, I want a good school district because we don't know what that is.
I want a
an
safe
area-
neighborhood.
I want a safe
Right.
neighborhood. I want an area with lots of
Right.
families. You know, there are certain things that we can't help
Right.
with.
Listen, so understand where we come from as agents, we are required to not
disclose
Add
much.
our opinions about
Not
certain
steering.
things.
Well,
And
right.
steering is the technical term for it, and you know, those can be very subjective questions as well.
That's
What's
exactly
safe to one person may not be to another, and it all varies. And actually, what I will give props to Zillow and Trulia for finding that information because they have different overlays and maps, and that is all available there.
The school
So-
information is phenomenal.
Yeah, the
That's
school
the best part
districts
because
and-
it tells you the assigned schools.
yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, and that's amazing too because that's so you know.
I don't know
we're-
how they do that.
Which
I
is
really
what was
don't.
it? Realtor.com?
No,
Zillow
Zillow,
and
Trulia.
Which no, obviously we don't.
Realtor.com has a channel.
Well,
Do
do
they?
they?
Yeah, that's I check, you know, to see what elementary and.
And
Yeah,
always
because
go
that's
double
always
check
people
that
want to
stuff.
stay
But yeah.
specific to.
Mhm.
Yeah,
so
if you're
that's
if
good.
you've got, you know, a kid in 3rd grade that wants to finish out at least elementary school in the same school,
Right.
it's good to know. And,
Right.
Absolutely.
and it's really hard by those maps, even on like the school division or board's websites. Like I can hardly ever figure out.
Right.
Well, when it's mapped, sometimes it'll be subdivision, which is easier, but
Yeah.
And even within the school district, some schools may be more favorable than others. Like I know here in Dublin, because we've been looking in this area to move in the future, like there's one elementary school that a lot of people like because it specifically has the lowest student to teacher ratio. So you could be in Dublin schools, which is awesome, but if what you want is a low student to teacher ratio and the other things in that school are fine for you, you really need to
yeah.
zero in on that.
And we don't have that information for you.
Right.
We can find it.
And then to both your points, it's very subjective. You know, you are looking for student to teacher ratio, and that makes a good school to you.
Mhm.
Somebody else just might look at the, you know, great schools rating and it's rated an
Right.
8 or a 10,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of factors go into those ratings, and that's good enough for them. Or, you know, so what's good to you is good to someone else or different.
Well, and like in our family's instance, you know, we're going to be looking for a school that's racially diverse. That is definitely something that a real estate agent cannot help you with.
Yeah.
No.
And anytime it comes to asking us about religion, race,
Right.
nationality, you know, those kinds of things,
We just
We
and
can't
can steer
answer.
you online so you can look up for yourself and what you're comfortable with. But
and those are great things that if you want the information, ask a friend. Or-
Yeah, because sometimes the information may not be available too, as well. There's things that
Right.
are just not tracked.
Right.
Mhm.
So, you know, you've explored your neighborhoods, you've got your finances together, you've all that good stuff. So, you know, what about your needs and your wants? I mean, should you be making some sort of a shopping list? Or
not in this
should
market.
you?
You get what you get.
Thank you. Wade's trying to take the pressure off me. Please understand, I'm a really good agent. There's just this poor man. I'm asking questions. I don't know what he's looking for the answer. It's stressing me out. Really bad.
I'm trying.
It makes my face go hot.
I'm learning.
I think that
I just like conversation.
You know, when you're making a shopping list, people say to me like, "Oh, I need a fireplace. I need a finished basement. I need a lot." Like, do you actually need those things, or would you rather see a list of all of the houses, and then you can kind of decide? Because, you know, when we make that checklist for you, then you aren't going to see any house that, you know, doesn't have a fireplace. And so I think I always come back and I kind of just send a list of all the houses, just so, you know, we can see, and I'm still searching myself as well. And I think that's important to keep an open mind, because you never know what you might fall in love with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and don't you find this as a compromise? I mean,
Yeah.
did you always get what you, when it comes to real estate, do you always come to get what you want?
No.
Do your clients get what they want all the time?
Yeah, because they use them.
They do, because
Jenny's on it. She
Yeah.
nailed it.
no, of course, in the market that we're having, when it's a seller's market, obviously there's going to be some compromises.
Yeah.
However, I do always stress that it's too big of an investment to just settle.
Right.
So there's a difference between settling and compromising, I
Right.
think. But
Right,
Mhm.
but they
You
don't
know,
have a fenced-in backyard, right?
I think that sometimes people, you know, you can put up a fence.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Like there's some things that you can do. That,
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
can
can
get
you
in
put
the-
up a
you can
fence?
get in the
Oh, well,
Wow,
there
that's
is
a
that.
good
Yeah,
question.
that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Um,
So
And what fence would you
HOAs
put
can
up?
factor in.
right.
Uh-huh.
But you could put in an invisible fence if it's for a dog. You know what I mean? So,
And let me tell you, those don't always work.
Sometimes they just want
When you
out.
have an eager puppy.
Marty a little strong.
just turn it up higher.
Yeah. Oh, we did, and he just
Aw.
totally sounded like someone was trying to kill
So
him.
we wanted a fence with our first house, and we specifically got a house with a fenced in yard. What we didn't realize is that our dog had the ability to jump over the chain link fence.
Oh,
Like, without even
Jumper.
slowing down, she just clear over it. So that fence that we thought was really, really important wasn't as
Was
much
useless.
because we had to wait for another year, and then we'd sort
Right,
of
get
press
out
the
anyway.
fence.
and you extended it.
There's just certain things I think that you can live with and live without.
Well, I think everybody has that. I mean, everybody. I say it all the time. You could be spending $1 million. You could be spending $100,000 or less,
Mhm.
and it is always some sort of compromise. You know, and to Jenny's point, there's a huge difference between compromise and settling.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a closing this morning, and the buyer was talking about the agent said it sounded like she was settling, but she just didn't want to get emotionally attached because they had already lost 3 other bids.
Okay.
And so while the agent sensed that she wasn't excited about the home,
That
it
was
wasn't that she was settling. She just didn't want to become emotionally attached,
Yeah.
like she'd done 3 times before. So
Which is hard. Yeah.
it's an emotional decision.
Mhm.
And you know, as much as you try not to make it emotional,
It definitely is, you know, and people are losing out on houses so quickly and so often that it's better that they don't get emotionally attached to houses.
This is a business transaction
it is.
that is going to affect your life.
No, I do.
but-
I still subscribe to the whole, as much business as it is, and it
Yes.
is, because it's a lot of money.
Mhm.
It's hard. I mean, you walk in and you get the feel. It's like going on a date, a
Mhm.
first date. Like you go look at a house, and on a first date with a person, you pretty much know probably in 15 minutes whether or not this is something
Right.
you want to pursue further,
Mhm.
whatever. So, and it's just, I get the same sense with the house. You know,
Well, it's a feeling,
Yeah.
and that's always what when you walk in and it's the right one, you'll feel it. But you walk in and you feel it, and then 13 other people do too.
Right.
And you're offering
And it's-
15 over a list price, and you don't get it.
Right.
It's hard.
It is hard. It's a sad market for buyers,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
We lost out on the first house we bid on that I loved this house more than anything. And I just convinced myself afterwards, I'm like, there is something horribly wrong with that house that we would have never known about it. And that's just how, for me personally, I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to convince myself that there was something that was going to be horrible about this.
I also firmly believe that everything happens for a
Right.
reason.
Absolutely.
Whether there was something
Right.
wrong with it, or there was something else meant
It's
to
just
be.
meant to be, and that's what
Yeah.
we keep trying to tell people, you know, and hopefully they feel that way.
Well, I almost think too, people are so stressed that they are just offering on anything and everything at this point too. So it may not be the right house, and you may think you're feeling it, but
Right.
it's not actually. You know, you're just feeling the pressure of having the right offer. So as much as you know, you may be feeling that, just don't. It's you know. So
Mhm.
yeah. So.
So I don't really agree with the rest of our list here,
No.
because we kind of already did this. But you know, you should already have an agent. You know,
I think,
Right.
I mean, you should be working with an agent at the very beginning. Like, even when you're going to, like,
And they can
pick a
help
lender.
you, right, they can help you, they can
Mhm.
help you find a lender
Right.
and walk you through the steps
Yeah.
and help you find the house. Because you have to have an agent really to go see houses.
Right.
So,
And, you know, if you're going through, we talked about the credit repair thing. If you're going through credit repair, that doesn't mean that you stop. That just means, like, I'm not going to take you out on showings, but I still think you should be looking at houses online and going to open houses.
Right.
Because you'll be so surprised when you go through these houses. You're like, I really need a first floor master. And then you start looking at houses and you're like, you know what? I don't.
It's true.
right.
So, you know, even if you're in that stage where you're not quite ready because you're cleaning up some things on your credit or you're building up a little more down payment, let's still work together.
Figure
I'll
it
still
out.
send you houses
Right.
so you know what's going on in the market. Then go to open houses.
You know, buyers will reach out to me while they're still getting ready to get pre-approved. Honestly, there's no reason to go see a house in this market because it's going to be gone, most
Oh,
likely. But to really know when you're ready to start looking at houses and
Seriously, yeah.
right, because you're putting sellers out by going to look at their house, and you know, you're wasting your time if it's going to be gone,
And in this
and
market,
you might
it's
fall in love with it.
gotta be gone.
Yeah.
You know, almost without question.
Mm-hmm.
If you look now and it's something that you know you'll be ready in 6 months, there's really not a lot of reason
Right.
right now.
So.
Now, if there's open house, no harm, no
I love
foul.
open houses.
Yeah, I stop in the open houses.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah, definitely go to open houses and understand like what you can afford in your price range and what areas you want to be in, and explore that. And then, you know, like we said, pre-approval is key.
Well, I think to the note of driving around neighborhoods, what about just driving around different neighborhoods?
Yeah.
You know, and figuring out. And I tell
Right,
people,
at different times of the day
Yeah.
too.
Different days of the week.
I've told buyers that you know, I've taken them places outside of you know their comfort zone or like where they identified because there was some place I thought that was like it. And I tell them, you know, when we're there, when we're done, if you've got a little bit of time, drive around, get a feel for the area, and see if this is something you'd consider. So I think there's a lot of just sorting out
Right.
in your mind.
Because we can't tell you where you're going to be again. So.
Alrighty then.
Right. So, but once so this is steps to buying. But what happens once you find that home?
Well, I think that
You got to offer, right?
Mm-hmm.
we're going to walk you through.
I think
So
that's
he's-
next week.
Yeah, okay. So next week, good segue. So next week, you know, there's the pre-find process and the post-find process.
Mhm.
So next week is I'm assuming
Next week, maybe steps to buying a
topic
house.
to you
Uh,
know, cost
cost
of
of
buying and selling. So kind of, not maybe a little.
But,
But you know, you offer, you go through the whole process, and your agent and your
Right.
Lender.
I mean,
lender.
we could
will
always
pay.
change that to if we wanted to. But.
We can do whatever we want.
What?
That's right, because it's that kind of world.
Is that kind of
Craziness.
That kind of-
I mean, if
Show,
somebody
too.
wants to know the next steps, I mean, it might be.
Was that what somebody had posted? Like,
They wanted first-time home buyer programs.
Oh, okay. Oh,
That's
a
what
great
they had
one.
asked
Yeah,
for.
we
So
should bring
yeah,
a lender on for
Yeah,
that.
I saw someone had commented already on first-time home buyer programs. So thank you. So again, any lenders,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
comment section.
if you have a link to your first time homebuyer program, I'll be happy to repost that onto my Facebook page so the
Absolutely.
folks can see that.
Yeah.
It's
Just send me
important.
the link.
Right, it's important to know options.
And there are lots of options. I'm finding more and more programs for not even necessarily first-time home buyers.
Mhm.
So there's lots of different options out there.
Well, even senior home buyers, their
Oh, the
reverse
yeah.
mortgage to purchase is an option.
Right? So there's
Heck'em?
yep,
Heck'em.
that's right. I love that word. I don't know why it's
I
just
do
fun
too.
to say.
It took a minute to think of it. Heck 'em.
And I don't even know what it stands for. It's like home equity.
But it's a
Line
pretty
of
phenomenal
credit
program
mortgage,
that
or-
is sounds too good to be true. And
Is that
it
it?
isn't.
Home
It's a
equity
true
line
thing.
of credit mortgage.
No.
Heckin. It's like we'll figure it out.
You
We'll
can
post it in the
Google.
comments, yeah. We'll,
You can
we'll
find
get
things
back.
on Google.
That's why we have lender programs.
You can Google it.
Um,
Or ask me, I know.
home
stuff.
equity credit mortgage. Anyways, we will be back next week, and next
Yes.
week we will maybe revise our topic based upon how this goes in your comments. And
You
your
tell us
questions.
what you want to see
You
next
tell
week.
us, and we will do it. Okay, for the most part. We're not going to do truth or dare. Right?
Real estate related.
We could do truth or dare real estate.
Well, that would be fun.
That kind of would be fun.
That would be fun.
We'd be like calm clients, like,
ooh, we can start prank calling people.
Is your refrigerator running?
You better go catch
oh goodness.
Truth or dare, go preview a vacant and abandoned house for your client at 9 p.m. at night.
it.
Yeah, that would
with
be
the boarded up windows. All right, well, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
See you back next time. Same place.
Happy
Shut
Wednesday.
everyone
Next
down.
week. Cheers, y'all.
Happy